get to know your students pretty well. Who's dedicated? Who does their homework? Well, that was Emma. Very good student. A pleasure to teach. Emma! Then it all changed. That's at least the fourth time in the past 2 weeks you haven't done your homework.
I know I'm really sorry.
Sorry doesn't cut it, Emma. I want to know what's going on.
Nothing's going on. I just don't like going home on nights when my mom works evening.
Why is that, Emma? She broke down.
It's my mom's boyfriend.
Her mom's boyfriend was always watching dirty movies, she said. Emma, asking Emma to come sit beside him. Putting his arms around her. Emma. Touching her where he shouldn't. It was pretty obvious where he was headed.
Apart from the family, the school is the most important part of a young child's life. They spend almost as much time at school as they do with their family. So it's not surprising that if there is a problem at home, the first people to learn about it are often at school. Their teacher, who sees them every day. The front office secretary, who takes repeated phone calls that the child is sick and can't come to school today. Or the custodian, who sees a youngster hanging around the school way past the time every other child has gone home.
Well, it's one of those things, you know. You see something, but it doesn't really register. I'd be doing my work after school, and I'd find this one boy, sometimes in the gym, sometimes in one of the halls, and I guess I just thought he was hanging out. Say, it's pretty late. Shouldn't you be at home?
I have no place to go to.
Within one day, I don't know, you put it all together, it all falls into place, and you suddenly think, well, there's a problem here.
In fact, for the Children's Aid Society, the school is the #1 source of referral for children who may be in need of protection. What they might be at risk from could be something that's done to them, like physical or sexual abuse, or emotional abuse, like a child who's constantly belittled or told that they're stupid. Or it might be something that's not done, like a child who's physically neglected, who isn't fed or clothed properly, or who's constantly left unsupervised. So there's a wide range of concerns that might come up, and school personnel need to become sensitive to what the signs are that a child might be in need of protection.
I'd seen a lot of changes in Jason, and they were starting to worry me. He'd become withdrawn, you know, really wary, like he was always scared or something. Then,
Jason, I wanted to talk to you about how you did on the test. Can you come to the class for a moment?
No, I can't. I got band practice.
All right then. But you know you have to bring that test home, then bring it back signed by one of your parents.
No, I can't. Get to belt again.
Jason, what do you mean?
Never mind, okay?
I knew that Jason didn't always tell the truth. But this just slipped out. And he was panicking. Looking at the whole thing, all those changes in his behavior.
And then the question is, well, what do you do about it?
As for what you do, that's simple. The Child and Family Services Act requires that anyone with reasonable grounds to suspect that a child might be in need of protection must report to the Children's Aid Society. It's not negotiable. Anyone means just that. Any school employee, teacher, janitor, secretary, principal, it doesn't matter. And must report means that the person with the suspicion must be the one that makes the call. That's what the law says, and that's what the law expects.
No, I didn't have any doubts about what I should do. unless she was lying, Emma was in danger. And that had to be stopped. That doesn't mean it was easy. I was worried that Emma would feel I was betraying her confidence.
I mean, I'm not a social worker. I'm not a teacher. I'm just the guy who looks after the building. What do I know?
It was pretty obvious to me Jason was being beaten by someone in his family. Not his mother. I'd met her once. Father? Maybe. But I couldn't prove anything.
Reasonable grounds, written on a piece of paper. It looks straightforward, and sometimes it is. But more often, it's not really clear. And then there's all the consequences for everyone. For the student, the parents, the school, when abuse or neglect is alleged. So it's not surprising that it might seem easier to back away, to say, well, I'm not sure. I don't really know. I can't be certain.
The intent of the law is to be proactive when it comes to protecting children, to intervene earlier rather than later, when it may be too late. So the question about reasonable grounds, I think, is resolved this way. If you have reason to suspect that a child might be at risk, then speak to your principal about it. Then, if need be, you could speak to an intake worker at the Children's Aid Society who would let you know whether you must officially report the name of the child and your concerns.
Yoli.
Oh, hi, Grace. How's it going?
Not so good, Yoli. There's something I need to talk to you about.
Well, can it wait? I'm just on my way out.
I don't think so.
Okay, let's go to my office and talk.
In all cases, where there's a suspicion that a child may be in need of protection, the first step is to let the principal know, immediately. The principal is required to support and assist the person reporting the suspicion, and if need be, make arrangements to ensure coverage of a teacher's class. The board will support the person reporting as well. What the principal won't do, can't do, is make the call to Children's Aid. The person who has the suspicion must make that call.
Children's Aid Society?
Yes, I was wondering if I could talk to an intake worker, please, about a kid that might be being neglected.
That's right. I want to report a student who's being sexually abused.
He said he'd get the belt again. Then he just clammed up.
No, I'm the only one I know of who's seen him like this.
No, I didn't push for details. I mean, she was pretty upset. But I do believe her.
What happens next is up to Children's Aid.
This is what I want you to do. Once the call has been made, Children's Aid takes over.
Now I'd like to talk to the principal about keeping Emma there until we can get over to the school.
Okay.
Our focus is on the protection of the child.
Hello?
If an investigation needs to take place or the police need to be called, we'll do that. In the case of physical or sexual abuse, where the child might be at immediate danger, then we'd usually instruct the principal to detain the child until the police and/or Children's Aid can arrive to investigate further. We'd instruct the principal not to tell the child why they had been detained, not to call the parents, and not to question the child further. In other words, unless we ask otherwise, let Children's Aid do the investigation.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, now what you've told me about this child is a concern.
Yeah, I understand.
Neglect is a real possibility here, but we don't have enough information to establish that it's happening. It's not like sexual abuse or physical abuse. For neglect, we have to be able to show what we call a pattern of neglect. We have to document it happening over a period of time.
Yeah, I understand.
Good. So what we need to help our investigation is for your staff to start writing down any day-to-day evidence of neglect they see.
That's fine.
The duty to report doesn't end with that first call. The person who made the report must confirm it in writing, using a special form that the principal also signs. And it still may not be over.
Well, how do you feel?
Drained. It's not something I like to do.
I know what you mean. But it was the right thing to do. For Emma's sake.
I know.
School staff must be very clear about their duty to report. If you have reasonable grounds, then you must report. And once that call is made, if you have other information, you must report that too. If you don't report, you could be fined up to $1,000. Teachers could also face disciplinary action from the College of Teachers. On the other hand, if you make a report in good faith, the legal term is without malice, then the law protects you.
In summary, if a child may be in need of protection and you find out about it, it is your duty to report it, even if the information was given to you in confidence. Go to your principal right away. The principal and the board will support you, but you have to make the call. Once the call has been made, you and the principal must follow any instructions given you by Children's Aid and fill in the required forms. Finally, if you receive any more information that the child may need protection, you have to report that too. Now, it likely won't be easy. Neglect and abuse are difficult for everyone involved. But it's the right thing to do, and it is your duty. That's what the law says. That's what the law expects.